Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm your bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed.
And you're home, oh, on the phone, all alone, interruption, in your house.
Darlings, I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and we are here at the Vagina Monologues, right here in West Islip, this wonderfully, beautifully written play by Ensler, and she wrote this play quite some time ago. And it received a tremendous raves, and then of course it was on off-Broadway, and then it went to Broadway, and now it's here in West Islip, and I am here with this lovely young woman. Her name is Cassandra. Introduce yourself to the camera.
Sure. Hi, I'm Cassandra Huneke. I'm the Special Events Coordinator for EAC Network and a cast member for the Vagina Monologues to fight child trafficking.
Now tell my audience how you got involved in this play and why you became involved in it.
Sure. Our program director of our EAC Network Safe Harbor program, which protects and treats youth who have been affected by child exploitation or sexual exploitation and human trafficking, did a talk at Eastern BOCES, where the director, Laura Ruhl, actually works as a social worker. And she was so moved by Shannon's talk about what she does and how she treats children and the problem that's right here in our community in Suffolk County that she was inspired to bring the show to us, and she contacted us, and I'm deeply in love with the organization that I work for. We do some tremendous work, and the Vagina Monologues.
I see that.
Yes, and the Vagina Monologues is such a powerful play that I identify with myself that I just had to get involved, and I auditioned and I coordinated the event, and then I was cast in it.
Well, it's such a dynamic play. It's so many actors like Susan Sarandon and Whoopi Goldberg have really wanted to get involved in the play and actually perform in the Vagina Monologues. So it has caught on to so many political campaigns and stories, and it's really a very riveting play, and it really gets to the inside of you, the inner depths of what your feelings are about being a woman. Don't you agree?
I completely agree, and I think that's why so many different people in general, whether you're straight, gay, trans, whatever gender you identify with, celebrities, everyday people identify with it so much because there are so many different voices and a variety of stories that every woman can identify with.
Every woman, no matter what her age is.
Absolutely.
And of course, in the play, there's a vast group of different age groups within the play as well. Now, how long did it take you to get into the characters that you performed in the monologues?
Let's see. I actually auditioned with a piece that I was cast for called The Flood. I really read it as a sad story about an older woman who never really experienced any pleasure in her life, and she was actually 70 years old when she started to find pleasure in her life. And
so why did it take so long for her, though? Did you ever ask that question? Why did it take so long?
I think, as we see in the monologue, she was just so deeply traumatized by an event that happened to her when she was younger that event instilled so much fear and loathing for herself that was unwarranted, because she really deserved love and understanding rather than marginalization.
I see. And your love of the theater, where did that come from?
That started when I was in high school. I did a few monologue pieces then and haven't gotten the chance to do it afterwards until this play. So I knew I had to jump on board and get back into it.
Tell my audience what you do for a living.
I am the Special Events Coordinator for EAC Network. I coordinate all of our fundraising events. I work with our vendors, and I work with our Manager of Development and Marketing to market our agency, to bring us into the digital world and bring our message to everyday people in our community, which, they really need to know what's going on in their own backyard. And we think it's really important that they understand that all of our neighbors need a little help from time to time, and that we're here to give them that help.
And of course, this is for a very worthy cause against child trafficking. Tell my audience where we can go to learn more information about that. What is the website?
You can go to eacinc.org to learn more about our agency and what we do with the Safe Harbor program and at our Child Advocacy Center in Suffolk County. You can also visit Long Island Against Trafficking to learn more about trafficking that happens in Suffolk County itself. You can also contact the Suffolk County Department of Social Services to learn more about what you can do to provide training on how to spot a child who's been sexually exploited or trafficked, so that you yourself can become a citizen who is aware of what goes on in your community and become part of the solution.
Cassandra, you said a mouthful. And thank you so much for that wonderful interview, darling.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
And I'm so happy I'm here. And we'll be back in a moment, darlings. More interviews coming up. Keep watching. Big champagne kisses.
Hi, please accept our heartfelt appreciation for supporting us in providing valuable services to adolescents, children, and families at risk who reside in Suffolk County. Thank you on behalf of everyone.
Hi, on behalf of the medical staff, I'd like to thank all our wonderful donors who are supporting us and allowing us to have this beautiful child advocacy center to help the children and families in Suffolk County.
Thank you on behalf of the EAC.
Thank you for supporting our children's programs.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting the children and families of Nassau Supervised Visitation.
We appreciate your donations.
Thank you.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and we are here at the Vagina Monologues in West Islip. This beautifully written play by Ensler, and I am here with the director, and she's going to introduce herself to the camera. I am Laura Ruhl. Laura, what a pleasure and what a delight to come and see this play. It was on off-Broadway for so many years, then it was on Broadway, and now it's here in West Islip. Tell my audience why you became involved and why you wanted to direct this play.
this play speaks to so many women, and it resonates deeply, especially with women who have experienced violence in their lives. And the play's message is all about eradicating violence globally. And it speaks to women, it speaks to girls, it speaks to men, and it's just such a wonderful message. There was no way to not get involved.
I know. When did you start to get involved in it? Tell my audience the story. I want to know the story.
Well, the story is I got involved in 2003, and I found it just such a transformative experience that after performing in it, the opportunity came up to direct it, and I jumped on that because it was such a community of women, strong, really wonderful, passionate women, and you performed in it. For how many times it took for you to perform in it before you became the director? I performed in it for 2 years before I became the director, and I've now been a director for 10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen a lot. And you've heard a lot.
A lot of vaginas.
Yes, and you've heard a lot too.
What I've heard mostly, and this is the part that makes it wonderful to do, is I've heard how being a member of the audience has affected people. That's the biggest thing that I've heard, is we do it because people come up to us afterwards and say, I never knew what was going on in the Congo, or I never knew about this.
Oh, I've heard. As a journalist, I hear these stories. I know all about it.
But it's wonderful just to hear those stories of how it impacted people. A woman was just telling me tonight how her mother had uterine cancer, and it was very similar to the woman who did the flood, and that story resonated with her. So those are just meaningful moments that make it worthwhile.
Well, you're doing a terrific job directing the Vagina Monologues, and I want you to tell my audience where we can learn more information, how we can stop child trafficking, how we can, anything you want to share with my audience, what you think we should go, where we should go on the internet to find out more information.
The biggest place to go is vday.org, because that's the home site for this global network. This particular fundraiser was for EAC and Safe Harbor, and that is EAC.org, because that focuses on sex trafficking in Suffolk County, and it's just, there's vibes that would be wonderful. Mercy Center Ministries, Bethany House, the Retreat out in East Hampton, all of these organizations, we've raised funds for all of them. But all of these organizations serve this community of victims and survivors, and they would all be worth looking into.
Terrific. Well, I want to thank you for sharing all of that information and for inviting me to see the Vagina Monologues. I had a wonderful experience tonight.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll be back in a moment, dongs. Keep watching. More interviews coming up. Big champagne kisses.
I am worried about vaginas.
Oh, the monologues about vaginas?
When I first started performing the Vagina Monologues, I did it in these small little venues all around the world. And after every performance, women would literally line up to talk to me. And what they were talking about was the fact, usually, that they had been raped or battered or incested. And they really needed to tell someone.
Memory. 10 years old.
So in 1997, we got a group of women together in New York, and I said, how could we use the Vagina Monologues to stop violence against women and to serve this? And we came up with the idea of V-Day.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say?
Tell me! Say it!
This is a rape-free zone!
The way V-Day works is that people produce the Vagina Monologues in their own country, in their own language. They put on the shows, and then they give the money to local groups to stop the violence.
Tonight, we begin to heal all the women of Harlem, as well as all the women of the world.
Fika, fika, fika! Cognac!
What we realized was V-Day could in fact be a worldwide movement.
Many years ago, the comfort women who were the sex slaves during World War II were basically sold to the Japanese officers. They would have to service sometimes 70 men a day
Ay kung pwede lang magsalita ng aming mga kuke, ay sumisid ako.
10 years ago, the Comfort Women spoke up after 50 years of being locked in this silence. The reason why they were silent is because a lot of the blame gets put on them.
Hindi pa ako binabati ng isang anak ko mula na lumabas ko hanggang sa ngayon. Parang nahiya.
If we don't get accountability for them and justice, the whole cycle is just going to continue.
My mother died when a man punched her in the heart. It's like a metaphor for Indian women of what our experience has been.
I grew up in a home where there was domestic violence and grew up at a time when I got to the dating age. I always looked forward to the time that I was going with a girl long enough that I could slap her or hit her because I thought that that was not only cool, but, you know, that it showed ownership.
The fact that we accept it, the fact that we don't think it's extraordinary, that it's outrageous, that it's obscene, that this many women are being abused is the problem.
Nobody's ever come here for us. It's always about poverty, housing, unemployment, but never about the women.
I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. Vagina! Vagina!
Hey, you want to go see a play about vaginas with me tonight? I know you're up for it.
There is a certain shock value to hearing words about genitalia that are rarely spoken.
Live theater is an incredibly powerful vehicle to see friends and neighbors up on stage telling these stories and reading these monologues. It's an incredibly powerful way to reach down, touch people, and hopefully change some attitudes.
Agnes was walking through the Rift Valley, literally on foot, teaching communities everywhere she went why they shouldn't be mutilating little girls. We asked her what we could give her, and she said, you could give me a Jeep, it would get me there faster.
We all know that we are here because we have said no to female circumcision. You know, female circumcision is a culture, and it is a tradition that is deeply rooted in the people. And so we bring you here to tell you that you are now a grown-up, you don't need to look for anything else. You don't need the cutting to be a grown-up. In the beginning, I was shy because I thought people will hate me, but I appreciate myself, and I have that courage to live the way I want.
However long it takes for you to tell your story, take your time. Take your time, take your breath, take your moment. It's your story, nobody else's. Until you're ready to release it, then it becomes the world.
We'll be back in a moment, dongs. Keep watching. More interviews coming up. Big champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm your bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.